From time to time, I decide that there is a task that I've assigned myself that is insurmountable. And I just procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate. And I don't know what it is. It doesn't have to be any specific thing. It's just usually I've put kind of a pressure on it. And this video was one of those things I don't know why. I can't explain it. Every time I came to, I mean, I've got pages and pages and pages where I've written out, this is what it's going to be. This is really not that important. If you saw my video earlier in the week where I did my £20 or under £20 makeup bag, which is more kind of like day-to-day, one single makeup look in a bag for a very, very inexpensive cost, then you will have seen me talk about the fact that I was going to do a slightly higher price one at the end of the week. And I think I just kind of like wound myself up into it having to be this all-encompassing thing. And once I actually started putting stuff together, I was thinking, you know, you really don't get a lot for your money. And it's kind of exercises like this where you really tot up how much stuff is worth that make you think a little bit more about the choices that you're making and really how quickly stuff, because the stuff I'm talking about is not expensive stuff, but I was thinking, well, I want to do this. Oh, and I want to make space for this. It really does add up. So number one, please let me know if you just kind of like do a little rough maths in your head. How much is your current makeup bag worth? I'm not talking about like your entire, you know, maybe you've got multiple palettes. Just like if you were to throw a load of stuff in a bag, you're going to go our way for the weekend. How much are we talking? Because I was kind of shocked. Number one is the Stay Perfect foundation. This is just the original one. I didn't know that there were different finishes. When I mentioned this before, several people asked me which one it was. The original. The colour I have is Calico. This has been my favourite foundation discovery for a really, really long time. And now I can't wait to try more from number 7. It's just, it reminds me of old school Revlon Colour Stay, which by the way, I've been told, since I mentioned that last, Revlon Colour Stay has changed again. So expect a foundation review of that soon. The concealer I'm using is the Lacura, I say this every time, and no one has told me. Lacura or Lacura? I think Lacura. It's from Aldi. And although this is inexpensive, it has been the one that I've been reaching for recently. I really like it. Nothing wrong with it. We may have to do a comparison with the NARS because it's clearly what it's trying to be, but I don't know whether or not it's like comparable in anything other than packaging. I'm trying to stay out of this direct sunlight because at the time I'm filming it, it's just, you know, we just have to kind of make do. I'm just like in the shadows around the corner. If I put my hat together, can you see? Direct sunlight. It's either shadows or like we're on the sun. Right, I'm going to do a little cheat here. Not because I can't have both products, well, I mean I can't have both products, but just to show you something that someone suggested that I can't believe I hadn't thought of. So the next thing is the Born To Glow Liquid Illuminator from NYX. I love this stuff. If you didn't see my, I can't remember what I called it, but it was like how to get a glow, I don't know, something along those lines. If you didn't see that video, you should. So I've got this colour in Gleam, which is like a bronzy colour, and I've got this one in Sunbeam. Nothing about this says Sunbeam to me. It's like it's like a much more pale, pinky. Do you remember, was it called Moonbeam? From, this is Primark setting spray, which is factored in. You'll see in a second. Was it called Moonbeam from Benefit? Is that right? So those two colours, and I'm going to mix them together. I was talking about this in another video, and I said what I really wanted was something in between those two. And this genius said, why don't you mix them together? And I felt like an idiot. I'm like, of course, mix them together. That makes total sense. And so that is what I'm going to do now. But let's just, you know, for the sake of the price, we're just going to say I used one of these. Because usually I would have just used one of them. And if one of them is perfect for you, then you will just use one of them. And I wasn't cheating at all. For blush, I'm using this Speedy blush from Collection. Would you guys be interested in a multitasking products video? Not necessarily just makeup, could be skincare, could be anything. Because I think I'm coming together. I think I'm getting together by accident quite a few different products like this that would work for that. So this colour is, I think it's called Cheeky. Where's the thing? Cheeky. And I use it with a brush. So I don't put it directly onto my face. I find it impossible to blend that way. So I put it just where my brush on the end and kind of buff it in. Now, previously I mentioned that I buff things in after foundation. This is all cream products on top of my foundation. A couple of people said that they found that if they did anything like this, it just moved the foundation. I think that depends on the foundation that you are wearing and what kind of buffing action we're talking about. Like, very light. It is just kind of like, I don't know how to describe it other than very light. I'm not kind of really, it's not the same action as when I'm buffing in my foundation. This is just like I'm trying to dust, if you will, this colour onto the top. But I get it. This is not going to be for everyone. And if it's not, I would probably suggest you use a sponge to kind of stipple it on rather than this, but this does work for me. This is the stage where we use a setting spray. Now, there are a few that I've used recently that I've really enjoyed. This one has been one of my absolute favourites. It was dead cheap, but I hate this. I'll show you. It's just really aggressive. I'm going to put that on my face now. The only problem with this is really that, because the actual product itself is amazing. I did an IGTV video. I went out. I was drinking heavily, came back, and I still felt the urge to finish the video and show you it in my kind of drunken review state, because it was just so effective. So if you're very oily, I have to say, I mean, I'll show you. My face is completely saturated. The most aggressive setting spray I've ever used in my entire life. However, it really does help to block oil. Now, products that I've used in the past that do this tend to dry out my skin, so I don't use this all the time, but I wanted to mention it because it is effective. And obviously, once you've finished up something else that has a better spray on it, you could just decant that into that spray bottle. Before I'm going to do my setting powder, I am just going to go back in underneath my eyes with the Beauty Blender. Excuse me. I'm just sitting here. I'm being attacked by dust. Just to make sure that there's no creases have formed. I once had my makeup done, and this particular makeup artist told me to do this because once you use your setting powder, you're setting those creases, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, revelations all over the place. The powder I'm going to use is a Technic Soft Focus Transparent Loose Powder. You can see from my face, I mean, it's fine. I could probably live with this because it's a sheen rather than oily, but it doesn't leave you looking matte. This setting spray is not a matte finish. It is, although I don't know if it's supposed to be, but it does really help to control oil, in my experience. Watch me come back to you later on and be like, well, I don't know what's happened. It is really hot today, so I might be putting it through its paces. I am going to do something I don't usually do and put a little bit more powder under my eyes than usual because I'm going to do a little bit of eyeshadow, and I don't want to end up with glitter all over my face. So I'm going to do something in the region of baking. Would not recommend necessarily if you do have fine lines and wrinkles, because it's not the most flattering in the world, but needs must sometimes. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to use is this. I just bought this from Morphe. I'm very excited about it. It looks like this. And I bought it from Morphe because Morphe is now at Boots. Very exciting times. I'm going to go super simple, mostly because I don't have a lot of time today, but also because this is what I would do. There's loads, I mean, I love this. There's loads that you can do with it. I wish these two weren't quite as warm. I wish there was more of a kind of not coppery, like a bronze, not a, this is more like a copper bronze, and I want something kind of a bit more neutral. But I'm going to use this anyway. I love, like, these I would use together. Oh, I'm really excited about this palette. You're going to see a lot more of it. But that corner bronze colour I'm going to use on my lids, and quite possibly, can you see what I mean? It's quite warm. It's deceiving. Warmer, I think it looks warmer on my lid than it does in the pan. Bearing in mind that my absolute all-time favourite bronzy colour is Smog from Urban Decay. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of the tone that I would like. This is my new favourite brush from, come on now, Real Techniques. Whatever shade I've got on my lid, I just kind of blend it out. Super duper easy. I also bought the camo, I can't remember what it's called, the something camo palette, the Jaclyn Hill one from Morphe. When that arrived in Boots, I reviewed it on my blog. Love it. I love those all of the colours. The kind of like, well, camo colours, but that for autumn, amazing. Right, I'm going to use that same colour because I just want to show you all the colours of this palette, and I'm going to go underneath my eyes. I kind of want to do something similar than I did, similar to what I did in the £20 makeup one, just so you can kind of see. This is how I would wear my makeup most of the time. I'm not incredibly adventurous, although I do like a yellow. It really divides people when I wear yellow eyeshadow, but I like it. If it's the right tone, again, I like it. See, this I think is just a little bit too orangey for me. And then I'm going to, if I can find it, which I can't, I'll have this one. I'm going to take a teeny little eyelinery brush, and I'm going to use the black in this palette, which is where that powder under my eyes is going to come into play, hopefully. And I'm going to just like slightly line my eyes with powder instead, just because it's like so much easier. There's so little room for error. There's loads of room for error. That doesn't make any sense. There's loads of room for error. It's very casual, super duper easy. You can wing it out a little bit if you want to. You could spray your brush, make it a little bit deeper. But if you're not very good with eyeliner, if your eyes are a little bit hooded, you find it difficult to get a straight line, I am all about a powder liner. Mascara is my favourite, Maybelline Lash Sensational. Cannot recommend highly enough. All I would say is, if you buy it and you don't like it, leave it with the cap off overnight, because this needs to dry out. Initially, when I get a brand new one, it's never very good. I mean, a lot of mascaras are like that, but then it lasts for ages. It's not one of those things that, oh, a couple of weeks in it's perfect and then 2 weeks later it's like dead. Once it's dried out, it is absolute perfection for months. Cannot recommend this particular mascara enough, and I probably have been talking about it for years. I just remembered I had a shed load of powder everywhere that I need to dust away. Lastly, and with literally no time to spare before I've got to go to the school run, I'm going to use the Super Stylo Satin Finish Lipstick from MUA. This is one of my favourite lipstick ranges that I've tried recently. I did pick up one from Collection the other day though, that was really, really nice, but I wanted to include this one because I just think, I mean, the colour is very autumn. I can't tell what that smells of. It's not entirely pleasant. I just think it's one of the nicest formulas that I've tried in absolutely ages. Really creamy and comfortable to wear. And I really like this colour as well. This is, I have no idea. What colour is it? It just says full coverage, soft and creamy satin lipstick. Oh, it's on the lid. Major. As Victoria Beckham would say, it is major. Right, I'm going to take you with me. We're going to have a look at this in the sunshine. I was going to say in natural light. This is natural light, but, you know, it's like shadowy natural light. And then we'll see how it wears throughout the day. Okay, we're still shadowy because it is like just that kind of sunlight. But hopefully you can see a little bit better the actual texture. I really love this foundation, like a lot. But I know you can't see them. The beautiful gleamy highlight. Let's just get into the sun a little bit for that. Is this too much? Is it too much sun? Or can you see it? Because it's really pretty. Someone legit just like stopped to watch what I was doing. That was hilarious. I mean, I get it. It's weird. It's weird that people film themselves in public. It's strange. And the camera that I've got with me is not inconspicuous. It's on like a massive like tripod-y thing as well. So it is what it is. I dread to think what the parents at school think about me. If ever they see me like randomly filming in my car like this, it does seem a bit strange. Right, so that's the makeup. And I will come back a little bit later to see how this is wearing, to see whether or not it lets me down. Right, I'm just having a little check-in because it's nearly tea time. It's been 3.5 hours, so I thought I'd show you how it's going so far. The mattifying setting spray is amazing. Truly. I mean, like, there's a little bit of shine here, but seriously. I've just been sitting, well, not just, but I have been sitting in the car in like the blaring sunshine, and I should be oilier than this, for sure. Also, the lip has lasted pretty well. I've had a cup of tea and everything. Not bad. I will come back very, very last thing just to give you my kind of final 7-hour look. But 3.5 hours, I don't think this is bad. Okay, it's been like 7.5, nearly 8 hours. I am so tired. Full disclosure, I took more cocodamol earlier than I should have because my back's been hurting me, and I felt really tired, and now I feel a little bit nauseous. It's not ideal, but would you know it from my skin? Would you know it from my makeup? I don't think so. This side, I don't get it. This side is oilier than this side. The only thing I can think is when I spritzed, it didn't get this side as much because it just doesn't make sense otherwise. I was thinking to myself, imagine if I'd done like a half and half face. This would be a strange, because can you, like, even from up here, it's weird. It's like I have an oilier side of the face, but I think it's pretty good. No touch-ups whatsoever, haven't even blotted or anything. I mean, I did a whole foundation review. The eyes, let me see in the mirror properly. Oh my goodness, there's really no creasing actually, and there wasn't anything in terms of primer. I just put on my foundation as usual. That's actually really impressive. Obviously no flip. Mascara is my favourite mascara. There's no problem with mascara. And the lip I haven't touched up, and this is where we're at. But this is all these hours later. I don't think it's a big deal. If you haven't already seen my under £20 makeup bag, go and check that out. If you would like to see like a top 10 under £10 or a top 10 under 20 or 20 under 10, whatever. If you'd like to see that as well, let me know and I'll incorporate that in the next month or so. When we've kind of had a little bit of a break from just budget beauty only, I want to do some vlogs, I want to do some other stuff as well. I have other plans, but hopefully you've enjoyed this month. I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed going shopping again. I really was. It wasn't that I was relying on PR samples, because for a long time I didn't really receive a tremendous amount of stuff, but I think that I became overwhelmed with it at a time, and I just kind of lost motivation. That's not the word I'm looking for. I lost my passion, I suppose, and having to go out and buy more stuff became my, like, the switch that flicked, that kind of just put things back into budget beauty mode for me. And so many of you have commented this month saying that you can see kind of a change. Obviously already I'd kind of found my love for YouTube again, but specifically for this kind of content, I get it. I know why I enjoyed it so much the first time around. It's just the same as anything. If you do it for a really long time, sometimes you just kind of like, you need a change. I had my sabbatical and we're back. But thank you so much for sticking with me throughout that, and for those of you that have been with me for a really, really long time, hopefully you're enjoying the content again now. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Every time